Hi, this is Sarah Lacy. Welcome backstage at New York TechCrunch Disrupt. I'm here with the Godfather of the East and the Godfather of the West who joined forces today. Godfather of the East, Eric Hippeau, Godfather of the West, Conway. We announced on TechCrunch today about your new partnership. I know that you guys have a personal history together. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about how you guys first met and worked together?
Well, we actually met through the Red Herring, which was kind of
TechCrunch 1.0.
Yeah, TechCrunch 1.0 was kind of the flagship of Web 1.0.
You know, I moved to Silicon Valley in '99 and I couldn't get a job at the Red Herring, so I had to wait around to get a job at the new one.
No, this one's lasting longer.
Right.
If you recall, the Red Herring went out of business.
Yeah.
But in the heyday of the Red Herring, when Eric was running all of Ziff Davis, Ziff Davis came in and made a strategic investment in the Red Herring, and that's where Eric and I met, which is now over 10 years ago, and we've had a great relationship, you know, the whole course.
Yeah, as you recall, Ziff Davis was really at the center of technology. It was the media company that served all of technology. So as a result, we got involved in a lot of startups, and that's how we found Yahoo and invested through what became SoftBank, through SoftBank. So when I had the chance to meet Ron and invest in the Red Herring, it really fueled that interest, which I personally haven't lost since then, and we've stayed in touch. And over the years, have done quite a number of investments together.
Yeah, we collaborated a lot when Eric was at SoftBank, and then he went off to the Huffington Post, slight intermission. But now with Lair Ventures, we're all back in the same business.
Now everyone talks about it, and we talked about it on TechCrunch, there's sort of an obvious reason for you guys to partner in terms of your network here, and also the networks of your team, not to make it just about you guys. But you know, this is a very relationship business and a personality-driven business. There's a lot of investors and a lot of entrepreneurs, and most of the best ones, I feel like, work with people that they know and like. What is it about the two of you? What do you like working with each other, or what's sort of unique about working with Ron that is something other than he just sees a lot of deal flow?
Well, Ron, and of course he'll speak for himself, but Ron is the premier angel investor in America, in Silicon Valley, because he has full dedication to the entrepreneur and to the startup. It's not about him, or it's not about his group, it's about, are we going to be able to do a great job in helping these people get off the ground? And it takes a lot of work to get a business going and to be successful. And it takes a lot of relationships. And Ron has incredible amount of relationships. I mean, he's not shy to pick up the phone or send an email and call some of the highest people in our industry and say, please, you've got to pay attention to these folks, they're going to change the world, help them. In many ways, I and my partners, we do the same thing on the East Coast. It's all about the focus on, can we bring value, can we bring quality, can we help them out? And the answer, if it's yes, then we make the investment. If you then put these two networks together, they really are unparalleled in our industry in the United States, and the focus will be on helping those companies.
Right. Ron, we say that entrepreneurs can sort of call on these guys and get connections into advertising media. What does that really mean? What types of, is it for recruiting? Is it for deal making? Where do you think the entrepreneurs in your portfolio would really, feet on the street, benefit from this partnership?
Well, the best benefit will be when one of our West Coast companies is trying to forge a relationship with someone like a WPP or a Publicis, where Kenny Lair and Eric Hippeau are so well connected. And lots of our portfolio companies want to work with the major ad agencies and the media companies. You know, CNN, Fox, ABC, Time Warner for sure. Are corporations where Eric and Kenny have extensive history. And so when our entrepreneurs in California, you know, companies we've co-invested in, want to get a traffic deal or a biz dev deal, we'll use the good connections of the Lair Ventures to accomplish that.
And in commerce as well.
Right.
Increasingly, big brands have a visceral need to understand what is going on that's going to change their world from a marketing point of view, from a brand image point of view, and we're able to make introductions to really tiny little companies compared to their size, but they are in today's world because of social, because of mobile, because of the combination of all that in social commerce. They know their world is going to change. It might take a couple years, it might take 5 years, but they want to be on the forefront. So we're in a position to make a lot of introductions.
Now, when it comes to those old media elite, I'm curious what you're seeing, Eric, in terms of their willingness and their appetite to really embrace startups. Mark Andreessen has some great stories of the early days of Netscape when he went into the Time Warner offices and everyone told him, no one would use this thing, this is ridiculous, and he's like, you were wrong. And we heard yesterday with someone talk about the music industry. Music industry is still fighting startups. There's been some tension that you've seen at the Huffington Post between the New York Times dismissing you guys as all kittens, and New York Times has attacked TechCrunch too. Do you think the old media world in New York really wants to embrace these startups at this point?
I do, and the reason for that is that there is a generational change at the top, or at least if not at the absolute top, at the level where the divisions are running these businesses. A lot of the people who were just a few years away from retirement have left or are about to leave and are being replaced by people who are in their 30s, in their 40s, who have grown up with new media, and they understand very well that in order for their companies to have a big future, it has to be in new media as well. So that new generation is a generation that we're very close to, and they're very, very open to new things.
What do you think about what we were talking about yesterday about the age of entrepreneurs? Do you think of peak entrepreneurs at 25? I mean, you just started and ran a pretty amazing company with a couple entrepreneurs who certainly weren't under 30.
Yes, that's right. We're the poster child for older.
Although I think Ariana looks younger than me, so.
I think it's all about domain knowledge. I think if you're deeply experienced and deeply knowledgeable about a particular domain and you stick to that, you can become a very successful entrepreneur.
Ron, you were one of the first VCs in the Valley who really came out and gave you New York credit. We've always been very dismissive of New York until recently. What was it you saw 5 years ago? Was it any specific company? Was it a lot of companies? What was it that made you start taking New York seriously?
I think it was the volume of companies that we started seeing, and then at the same time, the quality of the companies. Chris Dixon, getting a liquidity event out of Side Advisor and then starting Hunch, sent us a real message that, hey, there is an ecosystem developing here.
And you always want to see that reinvestment in the ecosystem. Sometimes you see a big company, like Seattle had Amazon and Microsoft, but hasn't become even what New York has because there hasn't been that level of reinvestment.
Right. There was a company, and now I can't remember the name of the entrepreneur, but that also gave us a signal that social media was going to have a big role in New York, and then that was followed up by the founding of Foursquare. And the minute Foursquare was founded, we could really see that New York was going to birth a lot of the companies in social media.
Well, I really look forward to seeing on both coasts what you guys do, how many entrepreneurs take advantage of this partnership, because that's what's really going to determine what it winds up meaning for the industry, both industries.
Exactly.